I'm pretty sure most of you are familiar with Goosebumps. If you aren't, it's a series of horror novels aimed at children. It was also adapted into a TV series and 2 feature-length films. Most children probably know it from the school's book fairs, which had a surplus amount of them. As a child, it was one of my favorite media franchises. I loved reading the books. My favorite books were probably Welcome to Camp Nightmare and Shocker on the Shock Street, mostly because they both had super weird twist endings. However, I preferred the TV series to the books, mostly because I was never very big into reading as a child. Fortunately for me, episodes were just starting to be released on DVD at the time. I was so excited. I ended up collecting about 6 of the 16 DVDs that were available at the time. VHS tapes were still a thing at that time, so I had 2 of them. The first one was a classic Haunted Mask episode. The second one was different. Before explaining what it was about, I must explain how I got it. My neighbors across the street moved out when I was in 2nd grade, around the time I went through this phase. I was never too friendly with them. They were always inside their house, rarely coming out. However, they held a yard sale to rid themselves of unwanted junk. One of the things they were selling were old VHS tapes, each only 25 cents. One of them was a Goosebumps VHS. I could tell by the distinctive casing. I bought it and went straight to my room to watch it on my TV. I was a spoiled kid. For an episode of a children's show, it was pretty horrifying. All I remembered was that it was about 2 teens being kidnapped by horned monsters and taken to a ritual. I managed to repress it until recently. I recently got a Netflix account and discovered that the entire Goosebumps series was on there. I was so excited. The nostalgia of binge watching them all. Here is when I suddenly remembered the episode I saw as a child. I looked through the descriptions of each episode, but none of them matched what I remembered. The closest one I could find was One Day at Horrorland, due to the villains being horned monsters. Alas, that wasn't it. In fact, I had seen nearly every episode and have yet to find the one I remembered. Then, I thought of trying to find the VHS tape, which ended up being easy, since it was in the VHS box in our basement. The casing was from The Bride of the Living Dummy and an old story VHS. I was puzzled. I've never seen both those episodes, so I knew those weren't the ones I was looking for. Now, I could only find the answer if I actually watched it. Unfortunately, we got rid of our VHS player years ago. Luckily, my grandpa still has his, so I borrowed it. I plugged it into our TV, put the tape in, and hoped it still worked. It was taking a little too long to start. Right when I was about to lose hope, the TV made a noise. The screen flickered a grayish color. White lines traveled up and down the screen, and a purple haze danced to the left. I was relieved. At least something was working. When the tape started, I saw something I didn't expect. It was both my neighbors, the ones I bought the tape from, sitting on their living room couch. I recognized them, even though they looked a lot younger than how I remembered them. this wasn't a Goosebumps episode. It was a home video. It was old, from the 1980s by the look of it. I was even more puzzled. Suddenly, after staring at it for about 10 seconds, my neighbors began talking to the camera. The audio was horrible. I couldn't hear what they were saying. All I caught was, "Today me and ritual, sacrifice, worship him. It's a necessary evil. If we don't, world would end." They then stood up and made a reaching motion towards the camera. In unison, they both said, "We love you and want to keep you happy. Hear us. Listen to us. Spare us. Love us, our Savior." It then cut to two teenagers walking down the stairs. Someone was recording them, spying on them. Suddenly, two figures dressed in black clothing and baklavas ran into the shot. They grabbed the teens and dragged them away, covered their mouths to mute their screams. I was horrified by what I was seeing. The next shot was of a bonfire in a backyard, presumably theirs. The horned monsters I remembered were really just people wearing goat-like headdresses. They were all standing around the fire in a circle, chanting something I couldn't understand. One walked up to the bonfire and announced something. All I caught of it was, "Tonight these two sinners will pay. Eternal punishment. Ultimate good. This is for you, Savior." Then, the two black figures from earlier dragged the now sobbing teens into the shot. With no remorse, they pushed them into the fire. They squirmed in pain, in agony, as all of the ritual goers cheered. Horrified, I popped the VHS out of the player. I just sat there in disbelief. No wonder I remembered so little, because I repressed it. I started to put the pieces together. My neighbors were part of some type of crazy cult. They recorded one of their rituals on a VHS tape. It was accidentally put in a Goosebumps case. Due to that, I thought it was a weird episode, and my imagination filled in the rest. Now, I can't sleep. I know I wasn't supposed to have that. It was brought out to the yard sale on accident. I wasn't supposed to know about this. No one was. Maybe I'm just going crazy. But I am woken up in the middle of the night to chanting sounds from outside my window. In fact, I believe it's the same chanting from the video. They found me. They don't want the world to know they exist. Please spread the word. Get these psychos arrested. Please give any possible information you have on these people to the police. I know they'll get me someday. Don't let my death be in vain.